Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be reacting and discussing episode 2 of Life with an Ordinary Guy Who Reincarnated into a Total Fantasy Knockout. Alright, so just a quick recap of episode 1. Two guys, Tsukasa Jinguji and Hinata Tachibana here got reincarnated into a fantasy world with Tsukasa retaining his original look while Hinata became a knockout petite blonde girl. They got chased by a monster and Tsukasa defeated the monster. So that's pretty much episode 1. Alright, you guys caught up? Good. Let's move on. And as always, spoiler warning. So the episode start up showing Tsukasa has the ability to summons a random door that leads to Hinata's apartment, which is kind of a pretty useful skill since they can just have a place to stay whenever they want. The only exception here is that it's Hinata's apartment and it's pretty much a single guy's apartment. The trash aren't really taken out, the room's not very tidy, and he barely has any food since he eats out all the time. Apparently, the goddess granted them both their wishes at that time. Because if you remember in episode 1, when Hinata was passed out drunk, Tsukasa was trying to take him home to his apartment. And apparently, the goddess granted that wish by allowing him to summon just some random door into Hinata's apartment. So short story short, they have a place to stay, but they just don't have any food. So they can't stay there forever. Fortunately, Tsukasa noticed smoke while he was carrying Hinata running away from the monster, so a village should be nearby or something. And indeed, they did find a village. So they both make their way into the village, and this is when we get a glimpse of Hinata's skill, peerless beauty, and troublemaker in action. Apparently, the smoke that Tsukasa saw wasn't people doing their barbecue in their backyard or anything. It was actually the village being raided by bandits. So it's kind of difficult to know if this is the curse of the goddess or not because the skill peerless beauty and troublemaker are actually his two separate skill from Hinata's repertoire. There is that fourth skill when Hinata shows off her stats, that the curse of the goddess of love. Well, we don't know what that does yet. It really could be anything at this point. Anyway, Hinata ended up wandering right into the bandits, and instead of getting robbed, they were hit right away with the skill peerless beauty, and this started to happen. Unfortunately for them, there's only one girl, so they start fighting over her, and just like that, Hinata defeated all the bandits without fighting. And here I thought Hinata was completely useless with the skill peerless beauty. It's actually pretty useful. She is able to turn the enemy's strength against them and just have them kill each other off. And just like that, she defeated the bandits without lifting a finger. However, this skill apparently has this limitation because if you remember in episode 1, Peerless Beauty didn't affect the monster. It was Tsukasa that defeated the monster. In other words, her beauty only works on men and not on monsters. So the village was saved and the villagers start worshipping Hinata like some kind of goddess, which is funny too because she's actually a hero that was summoned here by the goddess herself. And Hinata begins to wonder why the skill Peerless Beauty isn't working on Tsukasa, but in reality it is. But Tsukasa just lies to him and said that because he knows he's the guy, the skill doesn't work on him. The bandits doesn't seem to be very clever or smart at all. One of them starts shooting their mouth off and Tsukasa quickly deduced down that their base was nearby. And with a little convincing from Hinata, they were able to locate where the base was. Well, now we know Hinata is good at interrogation. Just act cute and they'll tell you everything. Moving on, our protagonist shows up to the bandits' base at night and Tsukasa was checking out the enemy's stats, and so let's take a look at these stats quickly. So if you notice, the bandits' lock 3 and 2 are both the lowest stats that they have. Backtrack to episode 1 when Tsukasa and Hinata were looking at their stats. If you notice, Tsukasa's stat for luck is only a 5. So in the world of RPG, the luck stats actually determine how often you will get a status effect inflicted on you. And holy crap, Hinata's luck stat is an 80. So she literally would never get like poison or sleep or anything like that or confused. She's pretty much nearly immune to all status effect. Hinata started getting a little arrogant instead, she'll just use her skill Peerless Beauty on the bandits. But then Tsukasa reminded her that yes, it does work, but she almost got kidnapped the first time. Tsukasa suggested that he should handle this alone, and Hinata should go back. And Hinata said that she can't just abandon him like that. And this is when we get a little flashback of the two in their old world. So we learn from the flashback that from their high school day that Tsukasa is, yes, a model student, but he tends to shoulder all the work onto himself. And when Hinata saw that, offers a hand to help Tsukasa. Actually, we don't know if this is high school or middle school. They did say that they met in middle school, so this is possibly their first meeting in middle school. Anyway, Hinata is someone very caring and looks out for other. And it's actually this thought that Tsukasa started getting inflicted with that peerless beauty again. So Tsukasa banged his head really hard on this tree just to snap him out of it. But when Hinata tries to clean up Tsukasa's wound, it actually made it worse. And Tsukasa start going berserk and start beating up friends and foes alike. So it doesn't take long for Hinata to figure out that this is actually the effects of peerless beauty, and that Tsukasa was actually fighting everybody just to keep Hinata all to himself. Now Tsukasa tries to deny it, but the cat is out of the bag now because the status charm is actually above his head. See, having terrible luck puts you vulnerable to status ailment. Now we know a way to defeat Tsukasa. All you have to do is cast like poison sleep or like berserk on him, and then he'll just destroy himself. Tsukasa still tries to deny that he thinks Hinata is cute, but too late. The status ailment of charm is already taking effect on Tsukasa, and a quick slap by Hinata broke the charm curse. So with the bandits defeated, Hinata and Tsukasa found the gold that the bandits were hoarding. The village chief said it was okay for them to keep the gold, but Hinata said that it was just too much. Instead, she wanted new clothes instead. And for some reason, a fire actually broke out. The episode ended with an introduction to a new elf character, and she discovered that her forest was burned, probably due to that fire in that bandit hideout. And we cue the episode's ending. Episode 2 was actually a pretty hilarious episode. We get to see Hinata's peerless beauty skill in all its glory. I kind of wonder how far Hinata can take her peerless beauty skill to. Like she can use that skill to get intelligence from like information broker or something. But that skill, peerless beauty, can be a double-edged sword since someone can just kidnap her and then there's nothing she can really do about it since she's only level 1. And of course there's Tsukasa with his terrible luck. He's gonna get hit with that charm ailment every single time. That fire at the end, now we don't know how it gets started, but it could be that there may be like a bandit that was left over and decided to set fire to the place so that they couldn't get any of leftover spoils. Or it could be the curse of the goddess. We really don't know at this point. But it does leave a cliffhanger for us to watch the next episode. And that elf girl, we see at the end seems to be of high noble status. Well, we'll see more of her in the next episode. She's probably going to go investigate why her forest is burned down. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Leave a comment down below and tell me what you think of episode 2 of Life with an Ordinary Guy Who Reincarnated into a Total Fantasy Knockout. And as always, be sure to leave a like, turn on notification, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.